Hey folks, Paul Roberts here. This video fishing journal entry drops us in on a small gravel pit in northern Colorado in late summer. Late summer generally sees the continuation of summer conditions with peak water temperatures and peak aquatic vegetation density. If you want to know what this means here in my waters and in many similar waters throughout the country, see my last few summer video journals. The late summer to early fall period is when we begin to see signs of the slide into fall conditions that will eventually bring on that great fall bite. Cooling water temperatures, vegetation dieback, and in many waters, reduced water levels. Along with this, our bass are beginning to develop reproductive tissues at this time, ovaries and testes, which probably plays a role in their overall drive to feed. At first, this summer to fall transition is a slow one. Photoperiod, the amount of daylight, begins to decrease more rapidly by late summer. Both the angle and duration of sunlight drain away, and with them goes light penetration and the ability of that sun to heat the water. So in terms of heat, I call it the slow bleed, as the water slowly begins to lose heat. By fall, cooling is the norm, and the heating just can't keep up. Taken together, the drop in water temperature, the reduction in water levels, and the dieback of aquatic plants are key factors that in large part define the transition from summer to fall. Now I'm telling you all this because it's inevitably where we're headed. But what we actually see on the water on any given fishing day remains to be seen, as each year rolls out a little bit differently weather-wise. Looking at the calendar, we're at the very end of August, late summer. Normally I'd be seeing high water temperatures continuing. Some years hot summer conditions will drag on well into September. But this summer has been anything but normal here. A few weeks back, a series of cold fronts began moving in, and they just didn't leave. They kept coming one after another. So water temperatures began to erode way early, dropping all the way down into the low 70s. These are temperatures we don't normally see until fall. So here we are, it's late August, and we're already looking at fall fishing setting up. Can't beat that for late summer. Okay, our immediate conditions on this particular fishing day, it's post-frontal with bright sun. Because of that bright sun, I chose a pond with reduced water clarity, about 20 inches of visibility. That reduced clarity is a help, presentation-wise, by helping obscure my lures. Lures, if you haven't already guessed, don't easily pass for food as far as the fish are concerned when visibility is high. Now, that bright sun is not all bad news, though. If you can adjust for the fake-looking lure thing and not spook them outright, bright sun can be a help. This is especially so when water temperatures are below summer highs and the bass's metabolic red line. With that sun comes rising water temperatures. In today's case, going from the low to mid-70s over the course of the day. A rise in temperature like that, water temperature, over just a few hours' time can really energize those fish. So, as you watch, notice how strong and fast these largemouths are today. They fought like smallmouths. We'll be fishing milfoil beds with a swim jig and a crankbait, and I'll share a bit about fishing both as we go. I often start fishing shallow near the surface, especially on days that promise active fish like today. If they'll move from my lure, come part of the way, that's a huge help, and I can cover water more quickly. All right, so I guess now that we're clued in, let's do it. Let's hit the water. Let's fish.
Pause and acceleration.
Oh, you chased it. That was fun. Oh, he's wrapped up. Come on out of there, you. Oh, nice fish. Stay pinned, honey. We'll do this left-handed. Come on, mama. Oh yeah, that's a good fish. spin around so you can see her in the sun. There we go. Oh yeah, that's a 19-inch fish. Yeah, she's in great shape. All right. Well hooked. Very nice. Little bluegills in there. Oh, she's got a relatively small head and mouth. That says something for the growth in this pond, so that bodes well. All right, honey. Get you back in. Oh yeah. Nice. So she busted out of that bunch of milfoil right there. She may have followed for a little bit. Hard to say, but it's nice that she came up for it. That's a darn good sign. It was neat that she caught that. You know, a bluegill can escape in that heavy cover, and she followed right up on it, blew up on it, and I gave it some slack, and she followed through. 72 degrees, 72, holy moly. So that's really great. That'll make the fish happy. It has the opportunity to heat up again, and that's great. You know, heating up through the 70s is ideal. All right, it's a bright sunny day, so I'm using basically a pale bluegill colored bait. I guess pumpkin is the description, but it's basically a pale olive. So it obscures the lure. When it's bright like this, I don't want them getting a good look at it. So I want it close to the watercolor and substrate as possible, and colored like a bluegill. Bluegills aren't spawning now, and so they're fairly pale colored, matching the watercolor. I'm coming into the end of the pond with the majority of the milfoil. So I got a lot to fish in here now. I always like to hit the outer edges where the cover's thinner and a little more isolated. All right, so what we got are dense clumps. There can be fish tucked under there, and there's certainly bluegills hiding in those. And in those open pockets where the bass can hunt best. So if they're aggressive enough to come out and hunt and cruise, that's where they'll be. Otherwise, you may have, you know, bass tucked into these clumps. So we're gonna give both a shot. It's easier and quickest to fish the openings, and quickest for the bass to find you. So we'll fire away into some of those pockets. See if there's any hunters out cruising those pockets. There's bluegills in this front edge. I can see them. Not big, but speedy. Holy moly. It's the water temperature. It is. They love it in the 70s. Still trying to practice staying left-handed here. Yeah. No. All right. I'm going to crank this edge once. The clumps are getting closer together as I get into the weedy end, but that's okay. It's still fishable with this crankbait. I feel my way down. I hit a clump, and I stop, and I let it float up. If it hangs, I can give it a little pull, firm pull, and it'll often, being a fat plug with a wide bill, it'll walk through. I don't know if you're able to read my rod tip, but you can see it throbbing when as the plug works, and then comes to a stop when I hit something. And I either slack up or I tug through, but you'll see it run clean. If it's too weedy, you just fish short. Make short casts. It's more about being precise, kind of mapping out the bottom, mapping out the clumps. Once I identify the clumps, and I can run right up onto one, work my way over the top, and when I get to the outer edge of it, I rip free. And that is a huge trigger. I like to pull with the rod, and that allows me to feel my way down. The rod is where the detection is. And rip off of something. If I can. Sometimes I can't. Oh, I fell right in the middle of this stuff, so let's see if I can walk it through. Hit pretty hard. All right, rip. And I'm clean, nice. Whoa, there's a fish. Oh, right on the rip. Funny how that is. You know, it's funny, they're there, you know, they're there. They just require triggering. Oh, you just saw me, didn't you? I'll give you a little slack here. Take me for a spin. One hook, one hook. Oh. Oh, oh, oh. All right. Oh, there's another one in the gill plate. That's helpful. All right. Come on, honey. Oh. All right. There you are. Not a bad fish. 16er in the 16-inch range. I don't see where she's been hooked before. No bluegills in there. Okay, nice. Nice fish. And predictably on the rip. All right, hon. There you go. Fun.